think we'll get started. Hopefully Rick will be here in a few minutes. We'll call the International Falls Koochiching County Airport Commission meeting to order for Wednesday, April the 26th, 2017. Welcome all to be here. Anyone in the audience that wishes to approach the Airport Commission? Not. We will move to, thank you, we'll move to the minutes of the March 22nd meeting. With pleasure with the minutes.
Move to approve as presented.
Motion by Commissioner McBride to approve the minutes as presented. Second by Commissioner Nevinen. Discussion on the motion of the minutes. Hearing none. All those in favor of the motion to approve the minutes, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. The minutes are approved. Thank you. Move to the financial statement and the terminal project. We have claims of $753,428.89. And we have regular airport claims, and we're going to add one to it. So at the page 3, add Minnesota Energy for natural gas, and that would be $3,506.13. Is that correct? Yes. $3,506.13. So that brings our total of regular commission bills to $103,255.04.
You added that up just now?
Yeah.
Pretty good. Yeah.
And questions with regard, or first we have a motion to approve the terminal claims and the regular claims. Motion by Commissioner Nevinen.
Second with the added claim.
Second by Commissioner Pavlik. Questions or discussion on any of the claims? One I have is on the page 2, and it's at Bill Anthony's, and he was doing our project at the airport, wildlife studies.
Yes.
And now, is this his last payment? So this would be the final one?
That's correct, Harry, yes.
All right. And then the one just above it says, for the airport manager, on the ARF specialist, $4,500. And that is on our crash fire rescue vehicle?
Yeah, that's actually fire training.
Oh, that's fire training?
Correct.
All right, thank you.
Do they still bring up their own trailer?
Yes.
And they
Correct.
Brian and I are thinking we could just skip SEH since they're not here.
Yeah.
Hang on to that money for a while.
We'll delete that SEH bill.
Okay.
Hey, we're here.
And let's see, one more that I have a question on, and that's on the Schaefer manufacturing. Any idea what that might be?
Oh, it's oil.
Oil?
Equipment oil, correct.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Thank you. I don't remember seeing their name for some reason.
Chair, and then the B&H, that's for stump removal.
That's exactly that, correct, yep. That was for the...
Brushing and...
Yep, for when we had to do the setback requirements for MnDOT/FA for funding. So we did the cutting and the brushing, what have you.
Remember when they wouldn't let us cut the stumps, they stopped us cold. That's when we got that.
And we're out there, and that's where we were exactly in the same territory. Remember the battles we had over let's do it right the first time? And we're still not done.
And safety was right out the window. I mean, if the aircraft skidded, look at the danger that would have caused.
It's amazing.
Taking it apart.
And then there'd be one more, Mr. Chair, and that'd be
Please.
the Anderson glass.
Repair on the automatic doors of the terminal. Thank you. motorcycles in. I think Rick's team.
Please,
I've raised it before, Mr. Chair, but we will, it's our understanding that, and the public understands, the Northland Investigative and Protective Service will always have that as an expense going forward for security, right?
Yes.
There's no way to get around.
Well, unless
Or
the Homeland Security is willing to change their regulations and allow us to charge, but they wouldn't approve it because the fellows don't have the power of arrest.
Mr. Chair, now is that Homeland or is that TSA?
TSA.
Are they the same?
Yeah. Homeland Security is under TSA.
Yeah, they're under TSA.
TSA is under Homeland Security.
Okay.
Excuse me.
All right.
And so TSA will not. They want our officers there to have the power of arrest, and that changes the insurance for these folks. And if they do have to stop someone, and I think they've only done that once in the last since 2001. Police or sheriff's office can have someone there in a matter of less than 5 minutes.
The other reason I ask that is because of the new terminal. It doesn't really change that variable. You have to have it there. And Mr. Wood is retired. He's doing this but in the event that he retires, then what? I mean,
Still have to find a new armed security service.
Yeah.
Hopefully somebody would purchase that company and continue on.
Someone has entered the conference.
Further questions with regard to the financial statement? Hearing none, we'll call the question on the motion to approve the bills and the financial statement. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion is carried, and the bills will be paid. Financial statements are approved.
Who joined us?
This is John Feeney from Hammerlin.
Okay.
Thank you. Morning, Rick.
Morning.
Want to give us an update on the terminal project? You're not doing any work outside today, are you?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
We're kind of waiting on that until the road restrictions are off for more outside. The roof is on. The sheetrockers will have all the sheetrock up as far as they can go because we're waiting on a couple pieces of equipment by mid next week. And then the taper will have it for 2 weeks. And then the painter's scheduled for May 15th to start painting and doing the epoxy floors and whatever he can do. And the taper will probably still be there finishing up other parts, but the main rough ends are all in except for the mechanical room up in the mezzanine. They're waiting on a couple of HRV units to hang before they can do the ductwork and piping so it doesn't interfere with each other.
Is that why you have the hole on the south end there?
Those will be louvers.
Those will be louvers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We left it out for when we put the tank in. We just haven't, they haven't come in yet, the louvers.
How's that epoxy work? Let's pour it over the cement?
Yes. There's 2 different ways. I'm not sure which way they're doing it. They usually got to acid wash it, and then it's like a 3-step process.
Interesting. Sure stands up well.
Yes. And you don't want to be there that day because it'll stink. Or that week. Yeah.
So the painting of the drywall you expect in 2 weeks?
15th they're going to start.
15th,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And they're going to start in the baggage area and the bag check for TSA. So then they can do the baggage carousel because we got to have the floor and everything done before that goes in. So they're going to start there and get that done. And the tongue and groove we're still waiting on. That's been delayed. It got shipped to Canada to get stained. It got delayed a week. It's supposed to be here next Tuesday. So they'll be starting installing that next week on the ceilings.
Because I suppose Trump's got a tariff on it coming back.
That's actually what somebody just told me yesterday. Is that there's a new tariff coming from Canada.
Yep, 20%.
Please.
I understand there were some issues regarding counter height and even a door, some flow issues that were
The counter height one I heard about. I never heard nothing about a door. Oh, the added door maybe?
added
Yes,
door.
yeah.
Those things are fairly typical. Have they been worked out?
I haven't heard nothing else about them since the last meeting we had on site 2 weeks ago.
I think we'll be discussing, I think Destin is on the line as well as Bob, and so I think we'll be having a separate discussion on that item. So how much further work besides the louvers on the outside? Is there more work on the
There's
outside?
some siding to do.
Okay.
They're waiting on that. I never got a confirmed delivery date on that yet. I'm waiting to hear back from them. They came and prepped everything and got it ready as far as they could go until they get the metal. And then there's some caulking on the precast panels to do. And there's one precast panel to hang on the south side above that garage door that we left out. And they're coming on the 9th to get that done. And then just the landscaping and all that after it warms up.
When is the jet bridge scheduled for you to arrive? Sometime midsummer?
You know, I don't know what the official date was on that jet bridge.
Bob Kors, do you have any idea about the jet bridge timing?
I don't know if we have a specific date targeted, but it's going to be the very last thing that's put in.
Okay, sometime in probably July?
Yeah, I'd say it's going to be July, August time frame.
I think they need about 2 weeks to get that done. They do a final submittal in that we're looking at just to make sure we're on the right page with everything and looking it into final production. They've got a lot of it mapped already, but they're waiting on some of their parts and pieces as well that had some lead time things for interior paneling and finishes.
Yeah, it's generally just the last thing, after the apron is repaired and the building is occupied or really ready for occupancy, and then that arrives as a single piece, a piece of equipment that is then installed.
The predecessor to that, I mentioned to Rick that he and Thor will want to get together and organize some additional pavement we need to cut out to make grade and drainage occur properly. So I can't remember, Destin or Bob, if it's like another 20 feet. As we organize that, that'll start, as Rick mentioned, when road restrictions are done, and we can get after it. So get all that done, and then we can start getting the jet bridge in place as well.
Very good. I guess one last question for me would be on the, you got the roof completed, any leaks?
There was some around the windows in the light monitors. Yeah, because there's no windows in yet.
Oh,
so it was coming in there and coming down and getting on. They were here Tuesday, and it hasn't leaked since, so I think they got it fixed.
Okay.
So I think we're good. We'll find out soon here, because it's been raining and snowing. And like I said, Monday that was wet, and since they were here, it hasn't leaked at all, so I think we got it.
Very good. Other questions for Rick?
Moving forward.
Stay inside today.
Yeah, it ain't too bad.
Very good.
It was worse. Well, this mid-January, you love it.
All right. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Bye now.
All right, we'll move to the engineer's report.
Okay. In the absence of Sean and Benita, Sean has asked me to discuss with you guys, and I'm reading here, the crack seal bids. They were seeking approval to advertise for the crack sealing. We're requesting a bid opening date of May 23rd at 2 p.m. And we will present the contract award recommendation at the next commission meeting. The total estimated project cost is around $200,000, of which 95% of that is FAA funded and 2.5% is state funded. Any questions on that?
Nope, so we need specifications and call for bids on, advertise and call for bids on crack sealing of the main runway to be opened on May 23rd at 2 p.m. Motion by Commissioner Pavlik. Second by Commissioner Nevin. Discussion on the motion or the project.
Adds up somewhere around $5,000-6,000 airport funds for that. Is it
2.5%?
2.5% of 200,000.
Yeah.
That's pretty reasonable.
Yeah, I don't know how we can turn that one down. Keeps the runway in good shape for another year. Further discussion or questions? Call for the question to approve the motion. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion is carried, and crack sealing project is specifications and advertising and calling for bids is approved.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bob, if I could interject, John Steeney joined us from Hammerland. He's got just a limited amount of time this morning to discuss, any questions that we may have. I know there's, maybe an agenda item somewhere on the list to talk about Hammerland construction. Maybe on two notes. Number one, there's payment, due to them that was withdrawn from the current pay applications that you just approved this morning. And we'll need to get that, reconciled. But John has asked that there's a joint check that would be needed to be cut to make one of their subcontract or suppliers whole. That's Bell Structural Solutions. But if John, you're still on, maybe you could explain, everybody else to our knowledge, and as you kept us apprised of where payments are at, have been paid now, including Redfield, Porter, Brown's Garage Door, and Northern Lumber. Is that correct? Correct. That is correct. My request to the county is, or to the commission is, I think, hang on, gents, please. I'm in a ditch and the record just showed up here.
Oh, no.
Oh, are you okay?
Steve, what is the pay estimate total? Was that like 57? Yeah, I think it was around 60-ish, and with retention, reduction and stuff is about 57, I think, yes. And I think I shot Steve to you the dollar amount that is due to Bell. And my simple request is that we just do a joint check to Bell for that dollar amount. There's a minuscule amount after that you can hang on to for another pay estimate here. I don't think it's any big surprise that Hammerland has been compromised here with the two bankruptcies by the mine. I'm on about $16 million right now. And we've been limping along. The cash flow projections that I've put together allowed for very tight and lean operations, but as long as we had timely collections of the funds on the projects that we're still doing, we would be okay. There have been two construction management companies that we've been working with, one in Cook and one on a Virginia project. And both of those had been delayed due to lack of more funding, is what I've been told. And I do expect that those will be coming in here shortly. Some of that's for December and January work. And that has really put a squeeze on our timely payments of some of these suppliers, not only on the Eiffels Airport job, but on these others as well. So my job as a CFO is basically just to juggle the best that I can, but this has gotten out of hand, and that's where my request is coming to the commission at this time. Please allow a dual party check or a direct payment. I'm not overly concerned one way or the other, just so we can get Bell
who is the fiscal agent, they would approve it on Monday, and that would be then sent out on Tuesday.
Okay, that would be fantastic.
Okay?
Steve, do we have any employees up there working? I think yesterday Aaron told you that the tongue and groove is going to be there on Tuesday. Correct. What I'd like to do, with your guys' permission, is to authorize one of our individuals that would be up at International Falls to go to the county and endorse that check and sign off on the lien waivers, or the lien waivers can be scanned to myself, and we'll go ahead and sign those off. But if we could have a direct mailing directly to Bell, and if I could tell them that today, that would be probably the most timely delivery to them, and that's what I would be requesting. Okay. Can that work?
Yes, yeah, we could certainly have someone endorse it for Hammerland, and then it can be direct mail to Bell.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you for this consideration, and I'm seeing the light at the end of the tunnel here, and I don't think we'll have a repeat of this ever, if I have my say in it. But in the meantime, I've got a guy out here trying to get me out of the ditch. So
Okay.
If there are no other questions,
One question?
No, I just question. I would move to include that
Okay.
in this month's bill, payments.
All right, motion by Commissioner McBride to approve the $54,577.86 to Hammerland and Bell. Second by Commissioner Pavlik. Discussion on the motion or the payment? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Right.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion is carried.
Drive careful.
You should have told me that about 3 hours ago.
Where's the ditch
What's it
at?
like up in High Falls right now?
It's
It's
snowing.
snowing hard.
Did you guys get any of this ice or not?
No.
No, I couldn't even get up the hill. It took me about an hour and 15 minutes to get up the hill from my house this morning.
Where are you at?
I live in the middle of Grand Rapids.
Okay.
I just happen to be down along the river, and the road I live on goes up, and I slid down it sideways 4 times before I was able to get enough speed to get up to the top. But then I missed a corner coming to work, and that's my goal today, try to get to the office.
All right, be safe.
Good luck.
Gentlemen, I do appreciate your consideration.
We'll look for someone on Tuesday to sign that check.
Yep, on Tuesday, right?
Yes, please.
Yes. Good. Alrighty.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Bye now.
Someone has left the conference.
And Steve, maybe just an explanation here and make sure that I have it right. Hammerland has also now gone into a contract with a bonding company. And that are we then to make the future payments to the bonding company, and they will then take and make the payments to the subcontractors?
Yes, that is correct, and my understanding of what they've asked you to do, and the directive exhibits that, I think you signed and got back to them. So Hamlin has 3 contracts in place right now with the commission for the airport project. The first one is for we'll call it the structural carpentry, which we were just chatting about, cutting the joint check to, get that close to the end. It's almost completed now on that contract. The other 2 is for finished carpentry systems, so casework and the tongue and groove we're talking about, and those kind of systems. And then the third one is for the site concrete systems. So they've asked you to sign those pay directives on contracts 2 and 3, which, yes, you will make payments to their bonding company. The bonding company will act kind of as that fiscal agent, be paying the subcontractors and collecting lien waivers and making sure everybody, is whole and complete and not behind, like, we just ended up on contract 1.
Okay, and maybe just for the commission's understanding, Mr. Brown, who had installed the garage doors last August, hadn't been paid up until April now, so he's been sitting on that bill. I believe the Northern Lumber bill was over 90 days for materials, and so they were waiting on payment, and there was one other, and so to ensure that that's not going to happen, the bonding company is going to obviously be the fiscal agent and carry Hammerland through these bankruptcies at the mines, and so hopefully we'll have better payments to our subcontractors in the community.
You know, at the end of the day, it reflects on us too. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've been getting calls from Mr. Brown and Northern Lumber.
How many companies, construction companies up on the range around the region are stuck in this
Hold the
thing?
bag.
Amazing.
I know Commissioner, what's his name? Leo Trump said that most of the companies are going to get 10 cents on the dollar. That's all they're going to get out of this whole deal. They're like, there's 16 million. Hammerland's a pretty good sized construction company.
Right. There's another construction company in Grand Rapids that I'm very familiar with. They're into it for 20 million.
20 million.
Magnetation, I mean, that's a good example.
I'm not going to send them construction, and they're going to be in on that.
They've put out work and materials for 20 million, and they 16 million, and they're not going to get 10 cents.
10 cents.
Bankrupted a family company.
All right, further under the engineer's report.
Yeah, so Steve, just a clarification then on the pay request. We need to get some paperwork changes to Kyra?
Yes.
Correct, yeah, I'll work with Karen this morning and see if she can't put the special pay app together for you, and, you know, we'll just work by email and get it processed that way.
And Steve, can you get us a name of who is going to co-sign the check on behalf of Hammerland on Tuesday?
Yes, I will.
Okay.
Okay.
Further on
we do have Nate on the line today, and at the last commission meeting or one before, there was some questions about the cameras and security.
Yes, everyone has at their place from Nate on the security system. And looking at the schematic,
I saw it here once.
oh, right here, this one.
Oh,
If we're looking at the schematic, it appears to me as though we have about, and correct me if I'm wrong here, about 20 cameras inside and outside of the building.
Sounds about right. I can verify it. I'll look here quick and do a quick calc on myself. But yeah, that sounds about the right quantity.
And I guess the only question I have would be on the parking lot area. Are we able to take and add one to be sure that we have one overlooking the parking lot area?
Yeah, we can. What would be just general kind of overview, or would you want more quality image of like incoming, outgoing traffic?
I think just an overview too. I think, yeah, just to be able to see if anyone is. We have not had issues with anyone breaking into cars or anything of that nature, but just looking at the future, I think we'd be well to include one and have it included into the system.
Okay. I will see. I'll look at the site. Ideally, we'd probably be on maybe one of the light poles.
Yes.
I'm not sure if we have. I got kind of to get out of the building, but just getting to the light pole to get up to the light pole and put a post mount on top with a camera that could oversee everything would be the most ideal. Otherwise, I'd have to look at corner mounting on one of the corners of the building. So I will see what I can come up with in terms of getting access to those light poles.
Okay. Other questions with regard to the cameras and security.
Nate, can you explain briefly, because we had the question from SkyWest about their ability to use those cameras to view what's happening at their desk while they're back in their office space? Can you kind of walk through how that might work?
Yep, so the system is an IP-based system, so it means it's a kind of internet protocol. So you'll have the ability to set up, when you're going through the final programming of the system, to set security access levels. So as an example, you'll have someone that's designated as the administrator and will have full rights and access to everything in the security system. But then you can put on other access to other entities with much more restricted access. So as an example, with SkyWest, could give them access to only certain cameras that they can view, and then only let them view it at certain times or from a certain location. So that's just a programming piece, and we would just need to understand how much access they want and how much you're willing to give as the overall holder of the security system. So in essence, what typically how we go through this is once the cameras are installed, and we'll set up a meeting to come on site with the programmers of the security system. I'll be there, and then the end users should be there, and we can kind of talk through what those access rights need to be so that the programmers can do it right the first time.
Makes sense.
Yep, that sounds like a plan.
Would that
Okay.
include access from Inerson Flying as the fixed base operator?
Airport manager would have access.
Well, I want one camera based straight on the manager's office to keep an eye on.
I put a intrusion detection button on his feet so that it's only.
Give them a buzz.
I need one, yes.
So, but again, yeah, it's pretty flexible. It's just a matter of who you want to give access rights to and what degree of access you want to give them. So that's just programming. So as long as we know that up front, it'll be very, at day one, you'll have all that ability.
And when would you see the cameras being mounted, Nate? Is that once all the painting is completed, or what is the time?
So by my specifications, I require all wet and dust producing work to be in essence done. So they're not gumming up and dirtying up all the cameras and such. So whenever the sheetrocking, drywalling, and major construction pieces are done and they're basically doing finish work, then the cameras will get installed and aimed and focused properly, and then the programming will start. So Rick would probably have a better sense of timeline of when that might occur.
Probably in June or July.
Yeah.
Get all that epoxy work and everything else done so that there's no dust.
A question, how about on the loop? Like, how long will retain the data? Give us the parameters on that, how that system be set up.
I believe I had 30 days of storage requirements in the specification. And that's flexible in the sense that if you wanted to lower your image resolution, you could extend your storage, or if you increase your resolution, you'll decrease your storage. So all that's just program settings. So I've got a kind of a middle of the line image resolution requirement, and they designed the storage capacity based on that.
So is a protocol, in essence, a clean sweep every 30 days, pick a day? Is there an overlap? Like what I'm, what I'm envisioning is that when you're getting to the 30th day, we haven't had an event, which is wonderful. But if we did have an event, how do you? The question being is how do you, at what level do you erase the last 30 days?
Right. So again, this is a conversation for the programming phase to make sure that we understand how you want to handle that. Typically, what I see with most clients is if they haven't had any issues, but they still want to retain for a longer period, then you would archive, and then you would use your overall network storage, not just your video storage, because you're going to have about 9 to, I think it's 18 terabytes of storage with this system. But you could always buy online storage for archiving purposes, and then you would
archived every 30 days for a year time period, and then you would start replacing that over a time period.
Okay.
1 year time period. So it all depends on what your risk openness is.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm thinking of like in the parking lot where people park their vehicle and they leave it there for 3 months, and if we didn't have something archived, we wouldn't know about it until they got back. That's just something to think about too.
Right. And as a side note to that, you could always, if it's one specific camera like the parking lot, obviously that storage over 30 days isn't as large, but you may be able to just burn a DVD with those 3 months of storage of just that one camera. Because you'll be able to sort and search any individual camera's images over those 30 days. That's the nicest piece of the IP cameras, is that the searchability of the images is very easy to do.
Because of date and time prints.
Yep, exactly.
We're all being watched.
Yeah.
Big brother is here, okay. Further questions with regard to the camera security system? Very, very helpful. Thank you, Nate.
You are welcome.
And Nate, I think with that, you can just call back in for the construction meeting.
All right, perfect. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Dustin, is there anything you'd like to discuss with the commission?
Well, there's a question about the counter heights. I don't know if you want to discuss that.
Sure.
Yeah, we have a request. We have a request from the
Airline and the rental agencies, yeah.
from the car agencies and from SkyWest also to have 2 different heights of the counters. And
Why is that?
because of ADA, they have to have one that's this height so that if you're in a wheelchair, you can come up and you're able to sign. But if you're a person coming in, normally you'd have a counter height about here to sign. Otherwise, you're going to be down like that.
We have to do that.
And so we need to accommodate their request to have 2 different counter heights there.
Bob, who are those requests coming from?
My understanding was SkyWest and from the car agencies. Do you need a list of those?
Well, I know the request came specifically from an individual or from, I mean, I know the car agency ones. I guess I'm wondering about SkyWest.
Yeah, so I should say, Bob, that I've had several conversations directly with Kerry Springer, who's the facility manager at SkyWest, who is responsible for their work, and he understands the need to have the 36-inch height and has not requested a split-level counter.
Okay, I thought Holly had asked for the 2 different heights.
And that may be true. She may have, although that didn't come up when we were meeting with her. It isn't something that came up after the fact. But we talked about this a little bit, but because of the nature of those ticketing counters and because the way that they're laid out and the way that you may need future flexibility to rearrange who's at which station, our recommendation would be pretty strongly to hold all those counters at 36 inches. And I think we discussed this a little bit. I would also encourage maybe the commission to get out a tape measure and look at what a 36-inch counter actually is, because it's actually a very reasonable height for a surface where, in fact, if you've been in a ticketing counter recently, it's not a place where you're doing a lot of writing. It's really a transaction surface where you're interacting with a gate agent, and they're going to hand you a boarding pass, and that's really about the extent of that interaction. So I think the desire to kind of push the envelope here and try and squeeze in a 42-inch height is giving you very little benefit and is going to limit your flexibility down the line. So again, we would recommend quite strongly that the ticketing counters counters that we hold consist of 36-inch height. The rental car counters, because they're a little bit longer and because it's much more likely to go out a single operator at each of those 4 stations, it's easier for us to accommodate a split level counter at those locations.
Is that pretty standard at all airports? I mean, to have these dual, no?
Go ahead.
Well, what we're seeing rolling out pretty universally now is, especially the ticketing counters, this consistent height. So if you go down to MSP and look at their new ticketing counters, this is what you'll see. If you go to really any airport where they're rolling out new ticketing counters, this is kind of the model that you're going to see. And I think the fact that SkyWest, their facilities manager, was on board with this sort of speaks to that understanding of this reality. And also to the fact that because we're able to provide an adjustable height keyboard for the person that's working there and also an adjustable monitor, that we're able to give the employee a good ergonomic experience, and we're able to fully comply with the ADA. And in fact, it's a very much more open experience between the customer and the gate agent there. So I guess that's our recommendation as a firm on that. And I think if you're pushing for the split height, you're gaining very little, and you're limiting your future flexibility and potentially opening yourself up to some ADA claims down the road.
And one other thing, we do have as Destin said, we've been talking with Kerry Springer on this. He is the facilities manager, corporate facilities manager, which is the person who gives us the direction that we need to go. We have a meeting with him tomorrow at 9 a.m. So it is something we can bring up to him again and discuss with him. But he is the one who was giving us the design direction, and that doesn't come from Holly.
Well, I guess if SkyWest wants to do that, it's their business. They're going to live with this. But as far as the rental car agencies, we will have split height on the counters for all of the car rental agencies.
Yes, okay.
Obviously, our main concern, we have to meet ADA requirements, but also we want a good experience for us.
Well, and we have Steve Cashin is the person for Avis. Laura is, and she represents, is it Whirly's?
Whirly Car, that's correct.
Yeah, Whirly Motors. And the two of them have both requested it, and I think we have one third counter in the car rental agency.
Yeah, Whirly's, Avis, and
Washke. Okay, so we would want to have them all the same, and I think they know their business, and so we'll have split counters on those.
Okay. And just to let everybody know that was not the way the project was bid, so this will be an added cost to the project.
Understand.
One other thing, and I did discuss this with Bob and Laura at McCoa last week, but to let the commission know, once we get to the end of the project here, we've got funding in place
so we can.
Yes, so that is we'll work with Krause Anderson here and put together, we have a list of the changes that we have so far. Some of them have concrete costs associated with them. Those are the change orders that are being presented to the commission on a monthly basis. And some of them are we're working through them to determine what the actual cost is, and we just have estimates of them.
And there's no guarantee on extra funding at the end of the project either, I assume.
Well, there is a guarantee on the federal side. So the federal grant can be amended by 15%, but that's again only for eligible federal items.
All right.
So there could be a timing and cash flow issue at the end until we are able to close out the project. And so
That's correct, yeah.
And so we may be sitting with some tens of thousands of dollars that we have to, that the city and the county have to hold until we get the payment back. Commissioner McBride.
Mr. Chair, and Bob, now, if I'm understanding this, is that every change order then is outside of the project cost?
Every change order increase would be outside of the project cost, yeah.
There are change orders that go the other way. Reduce.
Yeah, some are change orders that are just, there's a no cost associated with it, and some are credits. But some are, end up adding cost to the project. An example is the additional earthwork that was required.
Right, but Bob, no, our contingency does not count for any of that?
Well, so we build in a contingency into the project cost, but the FAA does not recognize the contingency. So they issue the grant based on the bid, which does not include the contingency.
We're working with the government.
Yeah.
We are heat.
Let's hope they don't shut down.
Yeah, what would be the effect of a government shutdown or state shutdown to our funding cycle?
Well, this has been pretty commonplace to occur, unfortunately. So what happens is if the government shuts down for an extended period of time, there are no payments that can be made. However, it's been the experience that the government doesn't shut down for very long. So there could be just a little bit of delay in processing some of the paperwork, but
Last time they did it, the only thing I remember them shutting down was national parks and facilities.
But the state shut down because there's no days.
State's a different issue.
Volunteers.
Yeah.
yeah, the talk right now is that there's going to be, the federal government should shut down on Friday. There is talk now of that being extended to September 30th.
Continuing resolution.
Yep.
2 cents.
Again.
Yeah, isn't that the truth?
So I just want to bring that to everybody's attention so that's not a surprise. And I think now as we get further each month, and I'm talking to Steve Trudeau as well, we should be presenting to the commission that running total of change orders, where we're at, those that have been approved, and also those that we're estimating.
We're just going to have to put a lien on that SEH aircraft and make sure we get our money. Well, thanks for the update on that anyway.
Sure.
That's probably just
the only other thing I guess I wanted to just briefly touch on are the bond funds. I'm not sure. We talked about this so many times. I don't recall if I told you we do have the bond funds.
Yes, I think you did.
Okay.
I thought we had shared that we had received the bonding funds on the $2.2 million from the 2014 bond issue.
Yes, so that money now is in place. And I believe, Kyra, the commission has been reimbursed for your local share, so local share should be back in place.
Yeah, we received one payment from them for bonding.
And that was almost $500,000, $496,833. So picked up almost a quarter of the money.
So we're good on that one finally. On funds
Thank you for your efforts
phase two.
there. Thank you for your efforts on that, Bob.
Yes, Robert.
Yeah, you bet. Bond funds on phase two, I haven't heard anything more on that. I did go down and testify with Rob Eklund to talk about the project. And so we're hoping we get the bond funds for phase two and we can move forward with that, but that'll probably be again around that May timeframe that we'll know anything on that one.
We should know a month from now. I think they got to adjourn, May 21st or 23rd, somewhere in there? Whatever that Monday is.
Doesn't mean they will.
And whether or not they go into a special session, but I did see the chairman of the bonding committee on television last night, and the House does have, he says he has one in his desk, a bill for the House. I did talk with Representative Eklund this weekend twice, and he said that he has been told that the airport is in the House bonding bill. We know it's in the Senate bonding bill, and we know it's in the governor's bill. And so if there is a bonding bill, I think our chances are very, very high that we would be successful for the $3 million. But whether or not they can come to an agreement on having a bonding bill is going to be the story.
We've got money for the wastewater project tied up.
Yes. Yeah, sewer. All right, further, Bob.
That's all I have, unless Destin, you have anything else you want to discuss?
Well, Bob, I know Benita's not on there. At the McCoa conference, had the opportunity to speak with Andy Peak at the FAA, and he seems to have information that says that there is going to be an infrastructure bill. I seen a report yesterday that it looks like it's maybe going to be later in the summer before that, that the priorities right now are the Affordable Care Act revisions and the tax bill. Yeah, that those are the higher priority right now, but that they are working on the infrastructure bill. He believes that the pavement projects are going to be very, very high on the list, that there's going to be discretionary monies, and so his recommendation to me was that we get our plans done sooner. Now, I don't know what that means. He wants to have those plans ready to go so that we could start the runway project as early as next year.
Okay.
And so I guess what we need from Benita is a plan on what it would cost, because we would be having to get these plans ready. But he said, have your plans ready. He said, who's ever got their plans ready, we're going to take and fund those projects right now. And if we're talking, and he said 95% FAA monies. And I don't know whether the state's going to be able to match that with 2.5% or not. But we can't turn down 95% monies. So if we need to have a plan, and I don't know what, I know Benita is thinking of either bituminous or concrete, but we need to get that. We need to have an understanding of what it would take to get those done this summer.
Okay. I'll talk to her about it, and we'll probably be giving you a call on it.
Well, that's my personal preference. I guess open that discussion up to the members of the commission, because we're looking at probably doing this project over 3 years.
And we don't know what the future holds for funding, so if we want to get it as quickly as we can, well, we get 95%.
Yes, and that Commissioner Pavlik is correct. We don't know how long we'll be eligible for this 95%, but as long as we are, I mean, we got to take advantage of that. And if we can get this project started, even if it takes 3 phases to do that, and I know it's going to mean shutting down the airport, which I mean, just hold my breath every time we do that, but we need to have a plan for how we're going to do the 3 sections of the runway.
Well, from my knowledge of that, Benita does have a plan on that. She's, you know, as you know, been working with Duluth on all these different scenarios for the plan, so I'm sure she's got that figured out in her head. But if that is that direction the commission wants us to take, I'll pass it along to Benita.
Well, and we need an estimated cost, because if the city and county are going to have to put out some dollars here to get that plan ready, we'd like to have an understanding what we need to do to be able to have that plan on the shelf and ready to go.
You know, I was, if I could, I was looking at Bob's report here from Mincoa, and one of the things that struck me is that the MSP is going to go from, what is it, 37.5 million passengers to 50 million employments in the next 8 years. That tells me there's going to be a lot of demand for funding for that. So the sooner we get our money, the better we're going to be, or it may not be available in the future. That's all I'm concerned about.
My understanding is that we moved down the list on the size of runways too, that we're no longer the 4th longest runway in the state, that St. Cloud just finished their extension and they're now at 7,500 and we're at 7,409. So we're now in 5th place instead of 4th place. So if you can figure out how to extend our runway at the same time as doing this project, let's do it.
We'll just keep the favor going a little longer.
That's all.
Frankie Barr said we'll never quit till we get to his farm. You know, St. Cloud, are they back to scheduled air service?
They have Allegiant, I think, is running, and I don't know if they're running every day or if they're running 3 or 4 times a week. And I think it's to Denver, where I think they're flying to. I've got to go back and check that.
Yeah, but I don't think they don't have scheduled service right now. I think it's all.
I think it's charter or considered a charter service with Allegiant.
Are they still trying to get it? I would assume.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, they just did, and I don't remember the reason that they added the 500 feet. Was it?
Legion's balanced field length, they needed that for their...
They're flying 737s?
Oh, no, DC-980s, yeah.
Oh, DC-980s, okay.
Yeah, MD-80s.
So they need more runway.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, because they didn't want to continue servicing them at a 7,000 foot runway, so they went to 75. So, our runway is the next big project, and we need to be ready for that.
Well, to your point, and lengthening the runway is something we look at here too. If we're going to do the construction, that would be the time to do that.
Right.
I don't know.
To do an extension?
Yeah.
I think we're at limits, yeah.
I thought we were limited.
We are.
From our zoning standpoint, but
Right.
whether or not we can make a zoning change there.
Well, there's a couple things. So we would have to update the airport layout plan to show that there's a need for the runway extension. We'd have to justify the runway extension with the particular aircraft that needs that additional length, and an environmental assessment would have to be completed before we could extend it.
Long process. Huh?
Yeah, we're boxed in, and we would gain nothing with 100 feet.
Yeah, that's all. It would be less than 100 feet
Right.
to get to 7,500. But
Correct.
you know, I remember that the FAA was really did not want us to go over 7,000.
No.
We were at 6,500, and Overstar And we said, you know, the limit we could get to would be 7,400 with our zoning, and why not put the 900 feet there? And Overstar convinced the FAA that it was a good measure to do. So
He is missed. And
Yes.
not only airport issues, too. Wastewater project.
Absolutely.
That came right out of his committee.
So if you can give that to Nita and ask her to move that to the front burner,
Will do, Bob.
all right?
She's got to make it so Thor doesn't have to shut down here, so.
Yeah, we'll be looking at that 24-hour construction of best we can, or what we can do to get it done. 3 phases or not.
Okay.
Further under engineering or terminal or improvement?
That's all I have.
Okay, any other questions on the part of the commission?
No.
Very good.
Bob Coors and or Bob Anderson, do we, or maybe I missed it, but do we have a answer on adding or not adding a additional door for SkyWest?
Oh, that was the other one. Holly had asked to have an additional door put in from her office to the ticket counter. And Steve, you had discussions with SkyWest, and they were not interested in paying for that.
Yeah, so I had those discussions.
Okay.
And we did come up with an estimated cost to add that, and SkyWest did not want to pay for that. And that was in the, surprisingly, it's about $8,000 to $10,000 to add a door there.
Because it's got to be a security door, and have all the security wearing.
Yeah.
Are there any other?
We're concerned about is line of sight back to the passengers to be able to see back into an office, which generally not always kept in the best, doesn't always look the best. And there is no direct line of sight, even if they were sitting in their office, to be able to see the ticket counter. They'd still have to get up and get out there and see what's going on. So the way we were talking about handling it is what we talked about earlier is with a camera, that they would have a camera back have access to those cameras, as Nate said, and then they could have that on their computer.
Well, and who would bear that cost?
The cost of the door?
No, the camera.
The camera's already
Camera's gonna be in place.
so it's just allowing the access.
Okay, all
So
right.
all she needs to have is be able to access it on her computer.
Okay.
Allowing that, and she can take and watch the counter from her office.
I can't believe 10,000 for a door. It's unbelievable.
It's a hell of a door.
It must be.
FAA.
It's
It's a nice door.
must be made of gold.
So I don't know that we need formal action, but we would not be doing the door.
Can you see it?
Yeah, the discussion we had with SkyWest is we had lots of conversations with them about the design and where the doors would go, where the windows would go, where the office would be, and so on. And this was a late request from them, and they understood that, and that they would pick up the cost for it, if they thought that was reasonable. And once they got the cost estimate, they said no. The initial one from Kerry Springer was no, but we will talk to him again about that at our meeting tomorrow. But the funding for that, if it is going to be done, would be paid for by SkyWest.
I was just trying to picture Brian, myself, and the mayor going to the county board asking for $10,000 for a door. Public would have a field day.
No wonder the traveling public is crabby. All these little things.
All right, further, Steve or Bob?
Nothing more on one hand. That helps me understand where that was at, so I can cancel, any thoughts on that door from the suppliers.
Yes.
Please, thank you. Further, Bob?
No, that's it for me.
Thor, you and I should update the commission with regard to the ARF truck and the discussion that we had with FAA and MnDOT. And our truck has reached the 20-year mark.
It's 21 years old.
FAA wants to have them replaced at that point.
That means we've been here a long time.
Yes.
I remember
buying that one.
Yeah.
Gosh. And we've had no real issues with the truck. In fact, you've had it gone over.
Yeah, we put some capital into it, and we're running now. We've got some minors we're working on, but we're getting to 100% at this point. To bring the team up to speed, what's happened is that the FAA, for whatever reason, has changed the indexes. Indexes meaning size of fire trucks requirement for airports as our size. The old index, in Index A versus Index B, was where the category that we are in is 1,500 gallons of water, 200 gallons of foam, 400 pounds of dry chem. Now, for whatever reason, the FAA had decided to change that requirement to a much lesser requirement, less stringent. I can't remember the numbers. It goes down to 400 gallons of water. It's literally, in my issue, and many folks in the industry believe it's a huge step back in safety. So what the group is led by Sean at the airport, in Minnesota, is to look at getting the FAA to either look at the Index A and B change requirements and or help us fund new trucks at the new level. What's intriguing about it is that literally for us, and I still stand on the recommendation that we don't go to this new index level. We're far ahead with the older truck at 1,500 gallons of water versus the new spec requirements.
400.
Correct. Yeah, it's a huge difference, and it goes from
versus a fire truck.
Right, and it goes from, as an example, 500 horsepower of pumping ability down to like 32. So it's literally night and day difference. So no matter how this plays out, I still highly recommend that we at least stay at that level. And if we can't get that changed, if they will not fund new trucks at that 100 gallon level, then I would highly recommend that we continue with our existing truck, continue the good maintenance procedure we have on it, because from a safety perspective, we're way ahead.
There's not a lot of miles on it either.
Oh no.
And you just had your folks all trained with the truck again.
That is correct.
The FAA, again, back to the 20-year issue. The city has fire vehicles that are over 20 years old. We have them certified every year as to how much they can pump, and we've got to have. And I don't remember. I think it's 1,000 gallons a minute is what the requirement is for the city to maintain their insurance rating.
Their rating, yeah.
And so they have a company that comes up and they take and run the fire trucks and measure how many gallons it can pump, the capacity that it has. And so we're over the 20-year mark, but it gets recertified every year. Somewhere down the road, we'll have to purchase new fire trucks to replace that. The Andy Peak is working with with Washington D.C. on the FAA requirements to see if we can't do the same thing. Instead of using our money, our $1 million next year to buy a truck, we want to get our runway done. And so we'd like to push this thing down the road about 4 or 5 years.
Prioritize.
Right, you bet. And so they're now looked at doing the same thing, rehabbing the fire truck, making sure that it's in good shape.
It makes way too much sense. So we're probably going to have a hard time getting
The new specs, it looks like we can put on the Worleys to get a bid on a ramp.
Yeah, literally, it's absurd.
You get it from the DNR, and
Yeah.
that's about the same.
Yeah.
It sounds like
It's literally
terrible.
It's literally a one-ton dual truck.
for the government to go backwards on the requirements is unusual.
It's
too.
very
It's
unusual.
usually going the other way. It's almost unbelievable.
Well, especially when the commercial air service is getting larger.
Exactly.
If the planes go from 50 to 75 passenger and we're going to go to a smaller that whole discussion went on for the better
Yes.
part of an hour when we were at Macoa, and all the other airports were there, and I pointed out in my report, Brainerd, Bemidji, Range, St. Cloud, International Falls, they all wanted to put ours together and go put our specifications the same, write one request to the FAA, and they said no, that wouldn't pass. Each airport needs to do their own.
And frankly, I'm not comfortable with that.
No,
I'm not at all.
So, and then we could go to a supplier and say, build 5 fire trucks, for us. They didn't think that would fly. So we'll end up hopefully we can get the fire truck somewhere down the road on the state bid list. That would make it much better. But we'll see what happens there. So more to come on that whole issue. I just wanted you to be up to date on where we are.
We'll continue the upgrading and maintenance on our current truck, and I'm very confident it'll
Continue the service as well.
I guarantee.
Very good. All right. Anything under new business? Go to the manager's report.
Bob, you covered our meeting at McCall. I thought it was very informative meeting.
It was a great report. There's a lot of good information in there.
So very interesting. A lot of folks in the industry there. I think Bob touched on the high marks of what was.
Someone has left the conference.
Of what was shared there. Airport ops, we're getting ready for summer, quote unquote spring cleaning. We're enjoying our winter operations today, which have come back in full swing, which we'll get to.
Someone has left the conference.
At the end of this meeting. So, other than that, one minor issue right now, we're dealing with some beaver dams and a substantial amount of water on the airport. We have, in one area, we have 3 dams and 2 houses. We've contacted Jim Rodgerud. He's been working hard trapping that for us. So I think we got the last of the vermin out last night, and so we're going to start today with the backhoe, and we're going to start opening up as much as we can. And if we can't, with as much as we can with the backhoe, and if that's not successful with that today, then I'll talk with Joe and we'll get some help from the county.
Carol kicked the vermin out of our house, but when I got so cold, she let me back in.
Where exactly are the dams at?
I'll show you. It's good. Wasn't that comment because your wife wanted to?
Yeah, I knew she'd love
Right in here. This is really property in this duo, and it's this area right in here. This whole area is flooded now. And we're getting very close to the island.
So there is a creek in that area?
Yep. Creek. Yep, correct. So we've got a substantial amount of water there, so we're going to get aggressive on them. So yeah.
And so those are our beavers, or whose beavers are they?
I'm not sure. They don't have like serial numbers on them, so I can't tell where they're from. So yeah.
No IDs.
No IDs.
They didn't come in from another country, did they?
No, they're locals. They're not the nicest beaver. Exactly. So, but other than that, yeah.
Sure, we trap them all, because I know some trappers like to leave a couple for seed.
Yeah, the deep ones are not. We'll be very aggressive. We'll be very aggressive. But no, other than that, again, just interesting winter conditions, and we'll get to them.
Did our wildlife specialist note those in his report?
He noted how many wood ticks, how different, did he not, Karen? Thank you. How many species of flies, what type of minnow/small fish are in every pond on the airport. I'm not sure, but yes, fascinating.
And we're paying for all this. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, questions for Thor?
With the increase of the geese in the area, is that having an effect at all with your operations, with the operations of the airport?
You know what's interesting? Historically, the geese and the waterfall have historically not been a big issue for us. This year, to segue into that, is this year we're having a record amount of gulls. Very interesting. We're scaring them off. We're using shell crackers on them. But yeah, very interesting. There seems to be a very high population.
The gulls have seemed to have adapted away from the lake to eating worms and insects.
Absolutely.
And that's why they're all over the city. They're all over any open field.
Amazing.
They've adapted.
Yeah. It's just an observation. I noted that just the medevac helicopter, I haven't noticed nearly as much as in the past. Is that just me, or is that, are you?
It's a combination, the medevac helicopters and the fixed wing assets too. So, but recently, I think that's very fair. There's been, for whatever reason, I don't know the stats specifically from Adam at the fire hall in regard to how many ground transports, but in the last month, I would say, for whatever reason, that we have not seen a significant amount of either the helicopter or the fixed wing assets for our ambulance.
I think the helicopter that comes out of Hibbing or Duluth and takes them back has to stop for gas.
Yes.
But the one coming from Bemidji, I think, can make it both ways.
Yep, correct.
Without
Yep.
gassing, and so
Yep.
that could be too. But you know, if you're counting on that, and I have not asked at the
I don't know.
at the hospital how many transfers we've had, but I think most of them have been going ground. But there's still some that are going by air.
On quiet, dark nights, like your rotary wing, I mean, like at 2 in the morning.
You
Well, running the watches, I mean, that just, you're pounded into me. But it sounds like they're running the border. I mean, I'm talking 2 in the morning sometimes.
Yeah, and then too also could be them, and it could be Canadians also.
Oh, okay.
That's not sure.
Commissioner's just your paranoia.
Well, it is, yeah. Coming to get us.
Are they helicopter or drone?
Yeah. Well, you know, these ones that Homeland Security has apparently have blade dampers on them, and then which they really widen them down.
Okay. Further questions for Thor? Thank you, Thor, for your report, and thanks for going to Makoa. We'll go to the Secretary's report.
Not a whole lot. Employment records is in the packet. Last month we were up 200 employments last year. So
Now, let's see, we started in February, made the change over to the new schedule.
yeah.
And so all of March would have the entire new schedule, and we increased employments by 200.
But we've had,
That's interesting.
2 charters, have we not?
This does not include
That's
charters.
not charters.
This is just SkyWest.
This is only SkyWest. That's hard to argue.
Yeah, this is
That is interesting.
And I think we all hear conversations and people complaining about it, which they have the right to do it, and everybody still misses that morning and evening flight, but it's hard to argue what the numbers say. And I don't know if it's just an anomaly or if it's really making a change.
See over time. It's interesting.
200, that's significant.
Yeah. Yeah, you figure on 30 days.
With the big check.
That's a couple more people every day. Half a dozen, 7 weeks a day.
Yeah, that's significant. It'll be interesting to see next month. I'll see if there's something else.
I did hear from one of the folks at the paper mill that the folks for PCA like it because they can come in and check things in the morning after they've been here on a project and still catch the 11 o'clock or 11:30 plane that goes out of here. And so they're finding it worthwhile. So it's not bothering them. So.
I know one fellow flew back from Phoenix, coming back from the winter, and he said when he landed in the Twin Cities, he had to dead run to catch the flight to get in, that 11:30 flight.
To make that connection.
But he said, I mean, he left Phoenix at 6 in the morning and he was home by noon, back to International Falls, which is a good time.
Yeah.
About 6 hours plus the 2 hour change, but.
I just stayed in Phoenix myself until this end.
Still under the Secretary's report.
Grant tracking is, I put an update in there, obviously.
Any issues at all, Tara, that...
The only one I'm having an issue with is getting our marketing grant. So Kevin is working on that. We still haven't received the grant, so I can't submit any credit apps for that.
Okay.
When I followed up with him last month, he said he was working on it, or a couple weeks ago, I guess it was. He said he was working on it, then would have the paperwork shortly. So if I don't get it by May 1st, I'll follow up with him again.
Okay. So do we have any outstanding in?
No, all bills are paid, it's just our reimbursement.
Oh, just reimbursement.
Yep. And then our M&O grant is closed out. We closed out in our second quarter, so.
And that runs from July 1st till June 30th. That's on the state.
Yes. Yep. Other than that, Don has been amazing to work
Don
with.
Berry.
For getting our turnaround on these grant payments has just been incredible. And, you know, like if I have a credit app coming in, he'll hold that payment till I get that credit app in. So, I mean, he's been amazing to work with, which has been very helpful.
Well, I think we can all say to Kyra, this ship runs a lot smoother too, and the work you do.
Yes.
Can't thank you. I can't believe the difference since you've been here. So thank you.
And then the only other thing I have is I put some information, marketing information in the packets on digital. Well, it's all from B93. Yeah. I just had gotten some other quotes with them just to see what they would be in terms of marketing for their. I didn't put the marketing budget in the packets, it looks like, but we have a little bit left in the budget.
And now, we don't do anything on air with B93?
We do not do anything with B93. We did with, they're owned by the same Acadia Broadcasting, and we did some stuff with CKRD up in Dryden, but we've never done anything specific with B93.
So we're reaching folks from our radio station here in this area, and we still do the Dryden.
We only did a 3-month contract with them, and that has ended.
Okay.
So right now we don't have any radio advertisement in Canada.
And do we have anything on their website?
We have one on the Fort Francis Times.
So that area up there in the Kenora Dryden area, we're really without anything right now.
Yeah, and I take that back. We have the Atikokan Progress too that we are on their website, I believe it is.
I like having something up there in that Dryden, Kenora region, Red Lake. So I guess I don't know if we can contact them. I know they had to increase their rates though.
It was
really
like
significantly.
it was like almost $600 a month.
Yeah, I mean, that was really way beyond our budget.
But if we could get something on their websites or something like that, really helps, because a lot of people, I believe, go to their website to listen to the radio, where they can click on and they can, you know, listen to the radio through the computers and stream that radio.
And that signal for B93, does it make it up to?
It's FM. It goes quite a ways.
Yeah, it does.
And they have a pretty good listenership. You know, it's,
Actually, Randy comes to all of our board meetings, county board meetings from the radio station.
Well, why don't we? So they're looking at this one this would be for their website though.
The digital branding would be, which would be a business directory. The second page would be just a website listing. And then the third page is the actual radio advertising.
That's $420 a month.
Canadian dollar slipped to another, I think a 6-year low or something.
Really?
Because of that tariff. Must have battled the markets there.
I don't know. I guess I'm not sure what would be more effective, the actual radio advertising or being on their websites.
Yeah, I don't, you know, I really, and a lot of times I don't respond to some of the stuff because, you know, I trust you guys to do that. I just don't have a strong opinion other than I completely agree with the chairman that we need something in that Canadian region. I mean, just my own experience, Laura sees it every day. You look at how many Canadian license plates are in the airport parking lot. But we got New Gold here too. No, they've got a ton of people up there working it.
Yes.
Obviously, those
And they've
people
got money.
Yeah, they'll be flying in and out of here too. So that's more of a local market. Carol and I go to the farm and we keep running in. They got these big, beautiful buses and they're bussing them. They bought Taylor Trucking out, that whole facility there in Fort Francis. They're using it for their laydown area. And they take the employees who are in the Fort Francis area up, and then they've got another big bus at Depot and Emo, and then pick people up there and haul them straight up to 18 miles.
Beautiful modern equipment, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, everything is just unbelievably beautiful. Yeah. Those buses are really something. So they obviously treat people good and they operate.
Yeah, was that yesterday that DNR was here and talked about leases, precious metal leases, and what their projection, is it 5 million ounces of gold they're looking at?
Yeah.
And you convert that out,
Billions.
it's in the billions of dollars, what they're looking at.
What's our budget? I mean, do we have room for something?
There's a little bit of play in there, yeah. Sorry I didn't put the marketing tracking in here, but I can always email that to you too, so. I want to say there's about $1,000 as of right now. If we proceed with the rest of the stuff through September, or August that we anticipate.
This business directory, I don't know how much folks go on to that.
And with that, the funny thing is I went on there and I looked under tourism. There's not one business listed under tourism on that.
That is not.
So I found that.
Not being used.
And their website, then a small graphic piece is $99 a month. Well, that would eat up $1,000 in 10 months. So.
And we have 5 months left of this budgeting. So.
And this banner, that would be like a pop-up, right? Because I find these pop-ups so annoying.
No, it wouldn't.
When I see
So it
those
would,
companies,
it would be a graphic on there all the time. So what's more effective, putting some dollars onto the radio station? Okay.
I believe voice is better than.
I do too.
You know, I would contact Randy and just tell him this is what we have available. You know, give us a buy. You know, we're coming new with you. What can you do for us?
And I have to, the person that deals with all the marketing is up in Dryden, so I've been working with her.
Okay.
So they don't do it locally. I did contact locally, but then they referred everything up, so.
Yeah, Randy was the manager.
I think he isn't the local station here, but they're a bigger affiliate.
Part of that media.
I agree. I think that the radio's, and it's got a big reach, so a lot of people.
Well, the folks will be visiting the camps now, coming up in starting. Should we run something for the summer months? Is that more important to get the tourists to be thinking about it, or are we better off to wait for maybe for the fall of the year and run something for the locals?
You got two runs there. You got the tourism in the summer, and then you've got the snowbirds who want to get out of the cold.
But I believe the tourist tourism, and they've already made their arrangements. They're here and they have everything planned. I believe what you're saying, Commissioner, that it's in the fall, the people leaving the one we want to get a hold of, the locals and the residents. I think the tourists already made their plans. I mean, I'm not going to fly you up and go fishing and not have a ticket for the way back.
Right.
I've already bought and paid that.
So maybe we wait on
Right?
B93 and Dryden and put something together for the September, October time period.
Can we carry over our money into the next fiscal? We have to spend it within the year, fiscal year.
That $1,000 grant, we have to spend that?
Yeah. Well, for our marketing grant?
Yeah.
Yes, that needs to be spent.
Do we foresee anything coming up?
There's going to be another marketing grant for next year. I mean, and it could be even enlarged.
When does the grant come in?
September.
Well, we need money for like the bass fishing contests.
All of that stuff is already
Budgeted.
Yep.
Well, then I would say let's
Might as well utilize it then, I would say.
Should we run some for the summer?
see what we can get for $1,000. Do you want to go to Dryden or to B93?
Well, I'll see, maybe we can do both and see what we can.
Yeah.
See what we can get out of it.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
They're all hooked into the same.
Right. Yeah, they're owned by the same companies.
I mean, Red Lake again is another, there's people come here. Dryden especially, it's a bigger.
So you need a motion?
Yes, the motion to have the executive secretary secure a plan for Canadian broadcasting.
On that.
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner McBride. And so we'll have that for the next meeting.
And I think it's up to 1,000 or whatever.
Yeah, whatever we have left in the budget there. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. And we'll have that at the next meeting. Further, Kyra?
That's all I have.
Very good. Please.
Kyra, we sent letters out to all or to a great number of resorts and camps that are new. Any kind of feedback from that? I'm just curious.
I got a couple of calls from resorts up in Canada who were very pleased with the new schedule. So, but other than that, yeah.
So we've sent out those brochures so that they all have copies of them at the resorts.
Yep.
Very good.
Thank you.
Good marketing. All right, let's go to, thank you, Kyra. We'll go to reports of members.
No, nothing significant.
You?
Appreciate all the information on that report that you.
It was good, very good. I'll come to that at the end again, too. Commissioner Wright? Good. You? Commissioner Nevin?
And I'm just pleased with the progress of the terminal. It looks good when I go out there. Kyra and I had a chance to step inside and take some pictures. And Kyra's been also part of marketing. She's been putting things on Facebook. And there was some chatter on Facebook, too, about the schedule. And I know a lot of it was misinformation. So an opportunity to kind of clear up some things. So that's all.
Thank you. Yesterday, CARE 11 television, you had an interview with them. And when was it? Monday? Tuesday?
Tuesday, yeah.
And they went out and took video of the terminal building to run in the Twin Cities. So that is going to happen. Thank you for sending me to the Macoa conference. It was a very worthwhile. The report on the last morning by the MSP was really enlightening. As you pointed out earlier, they expect that increase in passengers going through there. They put on 28 new routes out of Minneapolis last year, from Minneapolis to other destinations, and so that's a growing number from the Twin Cities.
And we can benefit from that.
Yes, we can. It just makes it that much better. And I had a couple of moments with Dennis Probst after the meeting and asked him, do you have any concerns with the 50 passenger jets coming in from the region? And he said none at all. He said we would not look to ever limit anyone in Minnesota. He said if you've got that kind of service, we want them coming into our airport. Because I was concerned they start going to 50 million passengers and they're going to put a restriction and say, well, your plane needs to go to the St. Paul airport and we'll bus you over or something like that. I don't want that to happen either.
Was the regional passenger ships about 1% or less than that?
Less than 1%.
Yeah, we're really pretty insignificant to the airport. But yeah, they're continuing to add on. They're going to add on 5,000 more parking places at airport. They're building that hotel with 300 rooms at the airport now. So the Minneapolis-St. Paul Airport, we're very fortunate to be connected with a major hub that is growing like this one.
I don't know about you, but when Carol and I go, we usually, if we're in the cities for a meeting, that's when Ryan does the same thing. We usually take off on our little vacations. But we go to Park and Fly. And I don't know if you've ever used that. Jeez, it's so convenient. They're right there to pick you up in the shuttle. They take you right to your gate. You don't have to run around the airport. I mean, it's just so simple and it's very reasonable.
But what a marketing tool that put this hotel in there. You have the light rail coming right through the
That's
terminal.
the thing. I've used
And
that.
from there it goes right to the Metrodome, or not Metrodome, to the Twin Stadium downtown, to the Vikings. You can get over to St. Paul.
It's amazing. It's convenient, and that makes people
Fly in and you just
want,
go to your hotel and
fly through there.
Yeah. It seems like it's always under construction.
Is it? How hotels
Well, they are.
Starting now. They're just starting now.
We're competing too then, that's the other side of it. That's why I was pointing to that. Obviously, to have that kind of volume, they're going to be looking at some infrastructure continuing.
The airport manager now is Brian Ricks, who used to be at Duluth.
Yeah.
He left Duluth and went over to Grand Rapids, Michigan, and now he's the airport manager at MSP. He was not able to be there that morning. He was in
Dubai.
Dubai, that's right, over in the Middle East. They had asked him to go over there as part of a committee of U.S. airports to go over there and have discussions with them. And so MSP is pretty well thought of as a airport in the world system.
Dubai business interests are the one who bought and developed the new port in British Columbia.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you remember who was telling us that? Customs was telling us that.
Oh yeah, Tony Jackson.
Yeah. And so Dubai, I mean, it must be a very wealthy country, and it's got big business interests. But yeah, they funded all that renovation so that they can get that. They can do one of these huge super tankers a day, or 4 normal cargo. And it's amazing. Which means more rail traffic here, obviously, and that's.
The only other item I wanted to point out was, and I don't know whether we'd ever be interested in trying to put hangars out at the airport, whether that would help general aviation at all, but they have now extended the payback on hangars from 10 years to 20 years.
Okay.
And so if we wanted to put up a row of hangars, the state would loan us the money. We would have to pay that back every year, but we could do that over a 20-year period. And if you could do that with some rentals, we may be able to do it without increasing our budget.
Yeah.
So we should take a look at that possibility. I don't know.
I agree.
I don't know how many. Thor, do you have any sense as to how many general aviation might be interested in renting the hangar?
Boy, it's pretty limited.
It is?
It really is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So putting up a half a dozen hangars may not be a
can't see
paying
that
proposition.
No.
Okay.
Are all the hangars that are there now, they're occupied?
Yeah, not a lot of activity, but they're occupied. Yeah.
And you've got is that 737 still parked out there?
They departed yesterday because they were third floor. They were supposed to be departing this morning at 10 a.m. and they departed yesterday morning because they were anticipating the bad weather out of Texas. Private 737 out of Texas.
Private 737 for 2 people flew in here.
Oh my gosh.
Pretty nice.
Carol and I were at the airport where, what is it, Tower, where the casino is?
Yeah.
And their hangars, I don't know if they've got to be privately held because they put these huge investments in them.
Huge.
And we went into one, I mean, they let them they've got their motorhome in there.
It's a man cave.
Yeah, they got the plane, they're there all the time. It's where they go play.
That's what they play.
And so some people are more interested in that type of thing than just.
So storage overall.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm talking, you can live in them. They have bathrooms in them. They're just all set to go. So there is that clientele too. I mean, I'm just saying, it would depend on how cheap you could do it, but I was just amazed at how multiple use they had made their facility. I can't remember, there were other things in there too, but motorhome, airplane, a big hangar.
Well, you have a general aviation client that comes in now. You said they're looking at buying a new plane.
Yes.
And they have one of the hangars out there? Kennedy's?
Yeah, they don't have a hangar.
Oh, they don't have.
Larger.
I thought they had a. I thought
No,
they had a hangar.
no.
They're up here right now. Boy, they got bad weather.
You were talking about that Sears customer.
Oh, Mark Masters, I am sorry. Yes, good friend of mine, trucking company from Minneapolis. He has a home on Lake Capitola. He, I believe, Kyra has been in contact with Master Transfer regarding a hangar lease.
And you guys build a new hangar?
Yes.
Okay.
He was working on getting plans together
Yeah.
and everything. So
Very
he would
good.
let me know when he's got that together.
Exceptional.
So do.
What do we have available?
Yeah,
Yeah.
what do we?
There's 3 spots available.
Three lots you got available? Okay.
For big hang? Or would it be,
No,
it's not a big one, like, not as big as Wagner's?
No.
It's the middle size. It's larger than the small one, but it's smaller than
Right.
Wagner's. So the middle, there's only one that size.
Did Wagner's fit in one lot?
Yes.
It did.
Right to the edge.
I was gonna say, it must take up the whole thing.
Okay, well, next meeting. So this would be for the May meeting?
Mr. Chair, I'm just looking, and I have a conflict on the 31st, which would be last, but the 24th, and I think the way to be okay on the 24th is, does that fit your schedule?
Yep.
Would be the 4th.
That would be the fourth
Wednesday.
Yep. Fourth Wednesday, May 24th,
Because I have a conflict on the 31st.
at 8 o'clock.
Sounds good to me.
Okay?
May 24 at 8.
Yep.
Is SEH still there?
Bob, are you still on?
Yep, I'm still here.
Okay, May 24th. That would be the day after the opening of the bids on the crack ceiling.
Just right.
Snow should be melted by then, Bob.
Maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe not.
Maybe.
Yeah, hopefully we can make it up there. No snow and no ice.
May 24 at 8 a.m.
Yes.
Okay.
Anything further to come before the commission?
Felt kind of bad for the gentleman who joined us from the ditch today.
Yes, yeah.
He wasn't the only one in the ditch.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll stand adjourned. Thank you.
See you, Bob.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
I've got
I didn't realize it was that situation. That's a
excuse me.
Was this whether it was a plane be coming or not?
We're going to find out. We'll see.
See that in a little.
He's doing great.
I forgot to
He's 89. He'll be 90
Sun Country
September
has
27th.
named all
So,
of
yeah,
their
thank you for
lakes
asking.
by lakes.
And they're both,
Oh, yeah.
you know,
I heard that.
and
Rainy Lake is not one of them.